Hey, Rich. Hey, Pete. How are you?
Hi,
Hey,
Mel.
Mel.
Thanks for
Back
taking the time and speaking to us.
No worries. Great to
Yeah,
come
we're
back
back
and answer
again.
some more questions. So how can I help you?
Things
What's
that
the
are really
question
good.
for today?
Okay. So 18 months, or is it 18 months or so into
Bit
your
over.
journey?
Yep.
Yep. I guess I want to know how far ahead, if at all,
Yep.
do you look or plan or dream?
hmm
Added to that, do you know or do you want to even know what you'll be doing in a year, in 3 years, 5 years? And how much do you rely on the universe to give you that answer?
Okay, cool. Really juicy question. I love it. Talking about plan and dreams is actually two different things. And I would normally what we tend to do in our traditional world is we have a dream, we set a goal, and then we plan to achieve it. So let me address that in terms of a dream first of all, and the answer is not at all. I don't dream ahead at all, not even the slightest bit. From someone who used to sit on Christmas afternoon and go do my goal setting, my review of my goals from last year, and do my new goal setting for the year ahead, and do my dream building and vision stuff and all of that, especially on Christmas afternoon, which everybody thought was bizarre because that's the way I was, to I do not dream ahead at all. Not one little bit. I have no idea where this is leading. Absolutely none. And I'm perfectly okay with
What's better? So having worn both hats and having done vision boards and goal setting and led a very, very structured life previously and said, okay, this has to happen on this date and I'm planning ahead and I need to schedule this and I have a to-do list and now going...
And which would include, I would imagine, a lot of achievements.
Of course.
A lot of success.
Yeah. So you've worn both hats.
Yeah.
So
For me,
which is better?
Look, and I have to qualify this by saying one thing. This is me talking about me and my life. And people, I do get a lot of kickback from people who say, well, you shouldn't say that that's the best way, or that's the perfect way to live.
It's not relative to...
It's relative to me. And for me, there is no question whatsoever doing what I do now is a million times better. And there's so much to that, and I really want to address in this. I do whatever is put in front of me. I do whatever is put in front of me in the moment, and that can be from the moment of every day to what I'm doing next week, this week, and whatever. And I absolutely trust the universe. I'm not a particularly religious person. I've become much more spiritual, I suppose you would say, for whatever terminology. I don't know what that belief structure is. I honestly don't, and I choose not to. I'm not looking up theories of what goes on. I just live my life and do what is in front of me, and I trust that it will be okay. And a part of the reason I'm trusting it will be okay is the more that I trust it, the more it's okay, the more it goes really well. And so I didn't start this way. I didn't start 18 months ago this way. I just went, I need a break, I'll go away and then I'll come back and start planning again. Or dreaming again, and figure out something will fall into place, and therefore from that I will dream and build a picture of what I want from that, and then start planning it. What actually happened was I couldn't figure out anything, and the more I couldn't figure out anything, the more I realized I was just happy, I'm just going to have to let it sit because nothing's coming to me, so I'm just going to have to keep sitting because there's nothing to dream around. I know what I didn't want, but I didn't know what I did want. And I still don't, I suppose, except that I know I want this, that I know I want to feel like this more. And so I go by feel. If something brings me joy and makes me happy, I do more of that. If a decision, I can feel it straight away. If I go, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take on this sit. And sometimes I go, I don't know whether that was a good move. And sometimes it's not, because I didn't trust that.
Do you think that your trust has increased your belief in the universe as such?
Yes, it's cyclical. It's cyclical. Like it's this. The more that I trust, the more it turns out, and therefore the more that I trust the universe that it's going to happen. And then I believe the more that I trust the universe, the more that things happen that I can trust. You know, like they're building one another up all of the time. So I'm always, I think I said in one of the other chats that we had, that I'm always looking for signs of what to do is next. And part of that sign, part of it's very physical signs. And if you want me to talk about that now or later, we'll see how we go on another video, I can do that. And I'm talking physical, something is right there, something pops up on my screen, or I see something, or, you know, it's a physical sign. And other times it's a feeling. And someone, kind of a bit of a mentor of mine, or a friend, said to me one day, you know, go with that joy, because I said to you that some days I'm not talking happy. I'm a happy person. I'm an optimist. I've always have been. I've led a good life. Things have gone wrong, but I've led a good life. People always said, how do you stay so happy when everything's going wrong? And I go, because that's the way I am. You know, I'm a happy person. This is not happiness. This is joy. And it's different. And I can't describe it. It's this, and I don't even know that I've actually ever felt it before. That's how different it is. It's like it literally rises up within me. And I suppose it's probably hard to say this to two men. If you're menopausal, you would understand better. But it's like the difference between putting your hand on a fire and you feel the heat, to when you have a fever and it kind of rises up inside you and it feels like it's cooking your brain. You know, it's different. They're both heat. But one's an external heat and one's this internal heat. And with the happiness that I've always felt has kind of been an external happiness. It's not that it's not within me, it's just that I get happy over events, or I go, I'm just going to make myself happy, and it feels kind of external to me, making me happy. Whereas this is, I can be thinking about something random, it's not exciting or whatever, and all of a sudden I just get this wave of, and I literally will start singing or dancing or skipping down the street, and I can have weeks where I live in that state where I'm permanently on some happy drug with this joy that it's really difficult to understand.
You mentioned that you look for the signs and you're very deliberate about looking for the signs. You and I have spoke previously. I'm just wondering if you could share your Google authenticity when you did that in your 747320 story with Pete, because and I know this is just one of it's one of many, but it's a really good idea that I believe that we get so busy and caught up in the pace of life that we forget to look for the signs, because we're so busy just trying to do what society basically dictates and what we're brainwashed to do. So these signs are everywhere, and I'm a firm believer in that. We just have to stop long enough to appreciate them and look for them. So if you want to share that one, I think that's...
Yeah, for sure. And I think part of that is the more successful we are, I may be generalising, but the most successful, and in my case, as I said, I was a chronic multitasker. So there's no space in your mind to look for a sign. If I'm typing on Google and typing something, my brain is already thinking about what I'm doing next. So if a pop-up comes up on Google for something else, I didn't even notice it, because my brain's here, my fingers are doing this here, and I didn't even actually see it. I'm too with that. Whereas when you get to stop, when you stop and there's nothing to fill your brain, you're just looking around at the flowers going, yeah, it's really pretty. And you're looking at stuff. And the difference is now that once I've seen these things happen, and over a couple of years, it was like, oh, that's a weird coincidence. Oh, that's a weird coincidence. Oh, that's funny. And that's funny. And then you go, gee, this is happening a lot. Wow, this is happening a lot. And now, in that time, you're looking at the signs in retrospect. You're looking at them going, oh, it's amazing that happened, because that meant this in retrospect. Now I see it and go, got it. And I literally will say it out louder in my brain, thank you, got it. I acknowledge it, I thank it, I'm grateful for it. I bring it more to me by doing that, I think. And I just go, got it, understand. So the story with the authenticator, I had a whole heap of ducks I had to get in a row in Australia. And they all culminated before I left to come back overseas this time around. And they all culminated in this 1 week. So I sold my warehouse, I sold my car, and I sold my house, all in the 1 week. And 2 of those things happened on the same day. That then freed me up to leave the country. I couldn't go until those things had happened. And I knew that they'd had happened. I didn't want to book a flight and then find out that there was some delay with some legalistic issue and I had to stay. So I also needed to stay for my great niece's birthday. So all of those things aligned into the 1 week. So on this particular day, 2 things had happened. My much loved car I'm not a big one for material possessions, but of all the material possessions I owned, that car was the thing that I was most attached to, because I vowed to myself, after buying dingy little breakdown cars, I'm not frivolous enough to buy myself jewelry, beauty treatments, all of those things. But I said, one day when I have made it, I am going to buy myself a frivolous, nice car. And I got myself a BMW convertible. So handing over that car was a big thing. You know, I'm going, I don't want that anymore. So I had this day where I handed over my car and my house settled, and it's big stuff. You know, you just sit there going, whew, you know, whew, this is big. And I went, okay, I can book my flight now. I've got my great niece's birthday on Saturday, so anytime next week I can leave. That'll work. I need to book my flight. So a week out from leaving the country permanently, I'm thinking about booking my flight, which freaks most people out in itself. So I sat down to do it at night and went, I can't. I'm just wrecked. There's too much emotional stuff happened today. I'm just too empty to do this today. Have a good night's sleep, do it in the morning. I got up in the morning and doing all the stuff, and I'm checking Facebook, and I'm doing this, and basically I'm procrastinating. I've got to figure out how I'm going to get to Albania. I'm procrastinating and doing all of this. So I went to do some financial stuff, and I have a little Google Authenticator that I use to access a lot of financial stuff. And it has a 6-digit code. And so I got in to open up my account that I wanted to, and the 6-digit code came up, and it was 787320. And I went, 787, like a Boeing. A Boeing 787 plane. Okay, I need to book my flight. I got it. I need to book my flight. Understand. So shut everything down on my computer and just went, I'm not even going to finish what I was doing. I'm being told, stop and bloody well book this flight. So booked the flight, and I organised to go. I didn't even know how to get to Albania at that point, so I had to quickly sit and research. So an hour later, I had booked my flight, which went from Brisbane to Athens, and then another flight from Athens to Corfu to catch a ferry over to Albania. That's how I was getting there. Booked everything, got the ticket confirmation stuff and the flight details, and opened up to make sure it was right and that I hadn't made a mistake. Looked at it, and they went, yes, you're flying to Athens on a Boeing 787. And then you're going from Athens to Corfu on an Airbus A320. And that code had been 787320. And in that moment, because bearing in mind that, as I said, I was the night before feeling a little bit like, as you do, you know, what have I done? Is this, you know, am I trusting right here? And this is where it comes to the trust of the universe. Am I trusting right? Am I trusting right? The next day I book a flight exactly as I'm told to do. And I went, yes, I'm trusting right. That is my sign. It's not just my sign to stop and flight, but now that I've done that and I see that confirmation, there's that confirmation right there, right then, that I could not, you know, I was booking flight numbers. I was looking at the flight numbers. I wasn't looking at the plane type. And so there's no way for me to manufacture that. It was only after I got the confirmation. And then I went, everything's fine. And I just relaxed. It's exactly as it's meant to be. Those numbers aligned. It's perfect. And I didn't think about it again. Just bang, it's fine. Whatever happens from here, it's fine. And that's what I mean. That's how the trust cycles. Now, I did want to address the plan, though. And this is where some people misperceive. I live what some people see as a chaotic life. I don't quite see it that way. I certainly see it as very spontaneous, where I don't know what's happening tomorrow. On the 3rd of January this year, I had my pet sit run out on the 7th, and I had nothing booked for the year. Not one sit, despite me trying. I'm applying for pet sits, I'm doing everything, and nothing's falling into place. I'm going, does this mean? It didn't stress me. And that's the thing, is that I lost the stress with it. And people are, aren't you worried? It's 4 days away, and you have no idea for the whole year what you're doing next. And I went, something will turn up. It's okay. You know, I can go to a hostel. The people that I was pet sitting for said you can stay a few extra days. It'll work out. It'll work out. So that was on the 3rd of January. I've written this down so that I can remember. By the 7th of January, I got it over the next few days. I got a pet sit that took me out till the 17th of January. And now, what are we? The 20th of January. I'm booked out until the end of March.
Wow.
So, and they just plan, and they just I go from here to here to here to here to here to, you know, geographically, they work out. So before you answer that question, Rich. So the thing is that in order to do that, it requires some planning. I don't sit back and go, I do nothing. I'm applying for pet sits all of the time. When I got the next one was just down there. So then I got a pet sit, which is in Arcos de la Frontera, which is in Spain. So I was in one part of Spain and I went, okay, 3 or 4 weeks later, after this pet sits finishes, another one is in the bottom of Spain. I can get there easily. Now I'll start applying for more pet sits. 3 weeks is 4 weeks is great. I'll start applying for pet sits in Portugal, just over the border, because it's only a few hours away, or into southern Spain. So I am planning. I'm not going to go and look for a pet sit and cost myself money to go and fly to Greece to start looking at whether I like Greece. I will look at that once I finish the Spanish ones. So I plan that. The fact that I then go, okay, now I'm catching a bus, which has a different packing arrangement, physical packing arrangement to maybe being on a train or a plane. I have my things in travel cubes and they're color coded so that I can quickly go, I'm going into warm. Sometimes a host will say to me, do you want to leave your big suitcase here or just take your day luggage? Because you're kind of coming back this way to get back to your next sit. And I go, great. And so I suddenly can go, I need that cube, then bang, shut, right, off, next day. I can do it really quickly because I'm organized, because I plan, I'm organized in that respect. So once I have a pet sit, then I plan to apply for ones that are a logical thing. But once again, there's a lot I apply that I don't get. The universe tells me which ones I'm going to get. You know, suddenly I'll get one that I think, oh, this is amazing. I want this one. I want this one so badly. And I do it. And then the person comes back and says, you sound great. We'd like to talk to you before we make a decision. And suddenly we cannot align a time. Nothing goes right. Then the internet's down. That doesn't happen. And you go, this is getting really hard. And then they say, look, we had to make another decision because it was too hard to get hold of you. We've chosen someone else. And I go, damn, I really wanted that sit. And then tomorrow one pops up and you go, actually, that one would work really well too. And that's the one you end up on, and you meet this amazing person and it's great. And then you line up something and go, thank goodness I didn't get that other pet sit. So I apply my planning and organising to that, but the universe decides which one's going to turn out.
I was going to say, do you consciously speak to the universe and inform it of what you want? Almost, not like in prayer form, but do you throw it out there and say, this is what I want? You know, I'm a 100% believer, so make it happen.
No, I really don't, because it's the other way around. All I do is thank it for giving me whatever it gave me. And I do that. Okay. And I consciously will say that out loud. Oh, that was really cool. I appreciate that. I got it. You know, I can be having a sad day. We have sad days. We have sad days where we suddenly go, God, I miss my mum. And then all of a sudden, because my mum loves flowers, I'll see a flower that she really loved. And I'll see that and go, thanks, Diana. Yeah. So I acknowledge that moment. Yes, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say that there was going to be a question of mine about the universe, is because things don't always happen what appears to be in the positive all the time.
Yeah.
You might get 3 negatives that are leading to you that positive. And it's important to understand that. Yes. Otherwise, you know, and keep telling yourself that, oh, well, there's a reason why I didn't get that. There must be one coming up.
Yes,
something.
and it can, and I'd love to talk about that whole topic separately as well, because I think it's really important. And yes, you know, that's why I say I don't tell the universe what I want, because what I think I want, maybe I don't, because I thought I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I thought I wanted houses. I thought I wanted that security, and it never, you know, if I'd have kept pushing for that, which I did for 25 years or whatever my working life was. You know, I thought that's what I wanted. I thought that was best for me. And then I just went, whatever. And then it's putting stuff. Yeah, it's me putting out to the universe saying, this is what I want. And this is what I had a problem with. I'm going, I'm doing all the right things on this visioning, dreaming thing. I am asking the universe. I used to sit and write down my affirmations and say it out loud and do all of those things. And it wasn't aligned with, as it turned out, what the universe wanted me to do. So it didn't present that to me. And I'm going, why? I'm doing all of these things. So now it's the other way around. It's the other way around. It's me going, I don't know what you wanted me to. No, I don't have a dream. I could not tell you what I want for 1 to 5 years' time. I have not got a clue where I will be in one. I may be back working for somebody else. I may be out running my business again. I never discount that. I don't say I will never go back to that life. Right now I'm going, I get
That would be
Sorry?
That would be liberating, though.
Hugely liberating. And, you know, when people say, you know, and I get a lot of pushback, and it's about people's stuff, you know, where people get really defensive about their life, going, why do you intimate that your life's so much better than mine? And, you know, I'm very happy with my life. I get to go on great holidays and I get to do that. And I go, more power to you. If you're happy, that's great. And a part of me, there's two sides to that. Part of me goes, yeah, truly that's right if you're happy. But I was happy too. And I now know this joy thing that I didn't, you can't know it, you can't miss it if you didn't have it. You know, you don't know what you don't know if you don't know it, you know. And I can see, and I don't put my stuff onto other people, but I look at other people and go, I can see what you're complaining about in your life. And I can see that you're living this life that you think is good, that you're working all of this year to go on a 4-week holiday. What if you just had the holiday? What if you just lived the holiday? But I don't say that to someone, because if they come to me and ask me, if someone says, I need to change my life and I would like to be coached in that, then I will happily say that. You know, I will happily understand, because I do understand if someone said that to me 2 years ago, I would have shut them down. I would have just said, don't be ridiculous. You're being frivolous. You have to save for your future. You have to do all of that. I fully understand why people look at me and go, you're just living. I've had people tell me I'm living in unicorn land, that I want this, this, you know, utopian society, and it just doesn't exist, and I should get real, and blah, 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 blah. And you know, they could be right. They could absolutely be right. And I'm fine with that, because I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I'll deal with that later.
And this is your journey. I mean, you know, I'm a cards on the table, man. I mean, your cards are your cards. Our cards are our cards. It's just, you know, and if you are going to coach someone in that, you need to know lots of stuff about them, don't you? To be able to form it, to be able to coach them. Because everyone, you know, every morning you line your cards out, and they're the ones you're playing with.
And this,
you know,
so
you
this
need
is,
to.
There's some really big stuff around this. When I would coach someone, I won't pass on my opinion of their life whatsoever. It's what I try and do, and why I was keen to do more videos. I mean, I hate being on camera. I hate taking selfies, the most unpresumptuous, you know, I just hate the whole thing. And people kept saying, you need to do videos, you need to do videos. The reason is because people ask me similar questions, and it's easier to communicate it to a few, and I really appreciate these deeper questions, because what I'm trying to say to someone is not that my way is the best way. It's that, I'm just going to walk across the keyboard. It's that there is another way. And people don't see another way. There is people who are frustrated. You saw the cat. They are frustrated. They are frustrated with their life. They don't think that there's any other way. They just think that's how you live your life. That I go to work, even if they love their job, you know, a lot of people hate their job, but even if they love their job, they go, it's a great job. And I go, great. So if someone gave you $2 million, I had this discussion with a friend of mine. So I have an amazing job, pays me really well. I really enjoy it. I get great value. It makes me feel good as a human. I help people, all of those things. I get to go on amazing holidays, amazing trips, good house, fantastic. I said, so if someone gave you $5 million tomorrow, would you do it? She said, no. Well, do you love it? Mm-hmm. You know, you love what it is now because you think that the other option would be worse than that. Now, I'm not saying that she should quit her job and do that. It's just saying, do you actually love it? If money wasn't the thing, if the things that money bring for you wasn't the thing, if you could find that other way. And all I'm trying to do with having these is saying, I have found another way for me. And so the way that you find for you may be completely different, but at least go look. At least open your mind to saying, do we have to live as society has told us that we have to live, or are there other ways to do it that is right for us?
who is anyone to judge you when they've never walked a mile in your shoes anyway? So that's just
people do
anyway.
and always have. Yes. Yeah. So
that's right.
So yeah, I would say, so just to sum up those questions for you, no, I don't dream at all. No, I have no idea where I'm going to be. I do know that right now I do need to find a way to bring in that little bit of income for survival, and I do have to find a way to do that, and in a way that's congruent with my life now. I can right now see me doing this indefinitely. I love it. I absolutely love it. But if the signs suddenly make it difficult and it's hard, I know that I will stop doing it, and I'll stop doing it short term or long term. And there may be a reason. There may be something I also have to learn. Maybe I do get too cocky in saying my life's wonderful and people are shitty with me, so I need to take a chill pill and step back and be, taught a lesson in humble pie, and go and do that for a bit and then come back into it or not come back into it. I don't know at this stage. But I do have to plan. And so my ability, and that's also part of it, is that there's a trust in the universe that it will provide the longer term or the direction. But the more I travel, the more I have trust in me that I can deal with that. So I was in Verona, and I thought, I don't often, if I'm just sightseeing, I thought I'll get into Verona and I'll have a quick look at whether I like it, and just the B&B that I'm staying in. And if I want to stay an extra day or so, I will, because I had a few days before I had to get to Lyon. So I got there and went, yeah, I like it, I want to stay here. So in the afternoon, I spoke to the owner of the B&B, or late, actually it was nighttime, they didn't come back till really late, that's right. And I said, can I stay here tomorrow night? And they said, no, we're fully booked. And I went, oh shit. What am I going to do? I've got to check out in the morning, and what am I going to do? But I know that I went, okay, what can I say? I said, can I leave my bag here? And they said yes. And most of the buses and things that I wanted to catch were going late, like a 6 to 8 o'clock, 6 to 10 o'clock at night the next night. So I went, actually, I can see all I want to see of Verona during the day tomorrow. If I can leave my bag here, I'll move on. Where am I going to move? My options are to see a friend in Torino, to go see if I can contact my next pet sit, see if I can get there early. I sent messages to them to say, can I come and couch surf? Can I get there early? While I'm waiting for that, I'll go sightsee. So I'm walking around Verona, organising where I'm sleeping that night, or whether I'm catching a bus somewhere, or whether I'm still staying in Verona. I'm literally sightseeing around Verona. And then they said this. So I went, okay, I need to book my bus. But now I've done it enough that I can quickly go, where do I go tonight? I have my apps for my bookings, for my B&B, for the different bus lines. I know which bus lines go where, roughly. I don't know what the timetables are, but I can quickly go bang, 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 and go, right, sorted, booked. Now I know where I'm going. Now I can relax and sightsee. And I wasn't even stressed. I'd walk because I wouldn't have Wi-Fi. So I'd walk for an hour or two around Verona, and then I'd sit in the coffee shop, grab the Wi-Fi, see if anybody answered me, and go, where do I go from here? But so it's this trust in the universe that it will take care of itself, and whichever option is right for me, someone will come back and say, yes, you can come here early, or yes. In that case, neither of them answered me. So I went, okay, I just have to find something else altogether. And then I also have the resources and the ability to plan and organise, because I've done that for years. I'm not someone who panics in that situation, never was. And I know that I have enough intelligence and resources to go, I will deal with that. And I have enough money that if worst comes to worst, and all the B&Bs in Verona happen to be booked that night, I could probably slum it in a 5-star hotel if I had to, if I was in a pinch. Never had to do it yet. But, I can go catch a bus. I can go and catch a bus from Verona back to Budapest, which is an 11-hour bus, and sleep on the bus tonight, and then hop a bus the next night back from Budapest to Verona, and I've got 2 nights accommodation sorted. Something will work out. It's okay. So it's having the trust in the universe to do that, and the trust in myself to know that I know enough now on how to handle whatever crops up.
I've got one final question to wrap this question up, which is obviously tacked in a few other questions, but it's a very simple one. Do you often become overwhelmed with emotion due to your level of happiness?
Yes. Yeah, I literally will cry with happiness walking down the street. And one of the things I wanted to do, yeah, and it happens often. And sometimes it happens, and this is where initially I kind of tied it to places or events. So you do this big walk, And because I walk unplanned, so I just go. And so I'm out of the tourist areas, wandering around the top of Florence and go, that's a funny looking little town. What's down there? And I wander around, and then I come around this hill and go, oh my God, look at that. Actually, it's probably not the words that I used. They were a bit more blue than that. But I'm just going, oh, wow. Like I'm up over a mountain looking over Florence and the countryside going, oh my goodness, like pinch me. Like, oh my God, this is amazing. What life am I living? You know, like sitting on the steps in Venice. You know, I'm sitting on the steps in Venice watching the sunset, eating pizza. Just let that one roll off your tongue. I'm sitting at sunset on the steps of a beautiful church in Venice eating pizza. It's proper Italian pizza. What is my life? Like, this is just incredible, you know. And then other times now I can literally just be walking along thinking about the shopping, and then all of a sudden go, oh my God, I can't, it is not attached to a thought. It just comes up, and suddenly I'm going, oh, this is amazing. Like, this is just, I never take this for granted. I do not take this for granted one little bit. Yeah.
Thanks, Mel. That's we really appreciate answering that question. It's great, and there's a plethora of information there for anyone that's willing to listen.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks, Mel.